Most dolls just sit where you leave them, silent, harmless, forgotten. But the clown doll Nia Turner found in room 9 of the Riverside Inn wasn't any ordinary toy. Its painted smile seemed to stretch wider each time she looked at it, and its glass eyes followed her even in total darkness. She didn't know it could move on its own. She didn't know it whispered in the night. And she certainly didn't know that once the doll chooses someone, it never lets them leave. On a stormy night, stranded by a broken-down car and desperate for shelter, Nia had no choice but to check into the old Riverside Inn place that looked like it hadn't seen a renovation or another guest in years. The innkeeper handed her the key to room 9 with a strange hesitation, warning her only to ignore anything unusual. Nia didn't understand what he meant until she saw the porcelain clown doll perched on the dresser, its head slightly tilted as if it had been waiting specifically for her. From that moment on, the room felt wrong, alive, and before the night was over, Nia would discover the horrifying reason why the locals believed that room 9 should never be opened again. The first hours in room 9 dragged by with a strange, heavy silence, the kind that made Nia check the corners twice before settling into bed. She kept glancing at the closet door where she'd locked the clown doll away, half expecting to see it shift or rattle. Nothing happened at first, just the steady patter of rain against the window and the occasional creak of the old building settling. But around 2:47 a.m., she woke suddenly, unsure why. The lamp was still on, yet the room felt darker than before, as if shadows had thickened in the corners. Then she heard it, a faint tapping sound, slow and deliberate, somewhere on the floor. Her breath caught as she scanned the room, and her pulse spiked when she saw the suitcase she had wedged against the closet had fallen over. The door was cracked open. Sitting in the middle of the room, perfectly upright, was the clown doll. Its head was tilted slightly to the side, eyes gleaming unnaturally, smile stretched as if it had been waiting for her to wake up. Nia couldn't breathe. She had locked it. She was sure she had. With trembling hands, she grabbed the doll, shoved it back into the closet, and locked it again. Even double-checking the knob, but as she climbed back into bed, she couldn't shake the feeling that the doll hadn't been moved by accident. It had come out on purpose, quietly, almost politely, as if curious about her, as if testing her reactions, as if warming up. The next evening, the storm outside evolved into something violent, the kind of thunder that rattled the windows and made the lights blink unpredictably. Nia tried to stay awake, terrified to sleep, but exhaustion dragged at her. She played a movie on her laptop just for noise, hoping it would drown out her thoughts. Halfway through, she paused the video, certain she'd heard something faint beneath the rain. A whisper, dry and scratchy, drifted from under the bed. She froze, unable to blink, unable to breathe. The whisper came again, softer this time, but unmistakable. A voice trying to form words. Here, here. Her skin crawled. Nia slowly knelt down and shined her phone flashlight under the bed, expecting praying, to see nothing. And she did. At first, but then her eyes caught the faintest movement by the closet door. She turned sharply. The closet was open again. Her suitcase was overturned again. And the clown doll now stood standing just inside the doorway. Its head leaned slightly forward, as if peering at her. Its painted smile was no longer smooth. It was cracked at the edges, splitting wider, revealing tiny porcelain teeth beneath. Nia screamed, stumbling back into the wall. The air felt colder, heavier. Something unseen moved through the room, brushing against her hair, whispering again, breathy and eager. In a panic, she grabbed her things and bolted down the hallway, not stopping until she reached the lobby. The innkeeper looked at her with a sorrowful expression, as though he already knew the doll had awakened because he'd seen it happen before. The innkeeper listened to her trembling explanation, face growing grayer with each detail. When she described the smile cracking wider, his shoulders sagged as if a burden he had long feared finally resurfaced. He told her the truth. The clown doll had belonged to a young boy decades ago. A child who spoke to it as if it were alive, laughed with it, whispered secrets into its painted ear. One morning, the parents found their son sitting silently in a corner, rocking back and forth, throat slit as though done by something small, sharp, and ruthless. The doll had been on his lap, hands coated in dried blood. After that, the staff locked it in a storage room, but it never stayed put. It always found someone. As he spoke, a loud thud echoed from the stairs. Both turned to look. The clown doll stood at the top step, grinning wider than ever, glass eyes reflecting the flickering hallway lights. It didn't walk. Its movements were stiff, jerking, like a puppet yanked by invisible strings. Nia screamed as the lights began to pop, one by one, behind the doll as it crept closer. They ran to the maintenance room, slammed the door, and locked it. But the scratching began immediately. Slow at first, then faster. Then a porcelain hand punched through the wood, fingers clawing inward. The innkeeper yelled for Nia to run, but when she turned, Something cold and small grabbed her ankle, dragging her toward the darkness with a soft, delighted giggle. By the time the first light of dawn touched the windows of the Riverside Inn, Nia was already running. She didn't look back, not at the hallway, not at the room, and especially not at the doll she knew was somewhere behind her, watching with those cold glass eyes. She burst through the lobby, breath shaking, ready to scream for help, but the innkeeper was gone. The desk was empty, the front door left ajar, as if someone or something had walked out just minutes before. Nia stumbled into the morning air, convinced she had escaped. Yet as she reached her car, she froze. Sitting on the driver's seat was a single red pom-pom, identical to the one missing from the clown doll's costume. Her hands shook violently as she backed away. She didn't touch the car again. She didn't go home. She left the keys in the ignition and ran until her legs gave out, forcing herself to believe that abandoning everything was better than letting that thing follow her. For days, she refused to sleep, terrified of closing her eyes and hearing that soft, playful giggle. But rumors began spreading, sightings of a porcelain clown doll appearing in homes, on porches, in motel rooms. And every description matched the same painted smile Nia saw that night. The doll had chosen her, and now, it was looking for her again.